Goblins is a retro boomer shooter made by David Szymanski, the creator of some pretty popular games, like Iron Lung, a submarine-based horror game, and Squirrel Stapler. A game which entails stapling squirrels you hunted to your dead wife, then meeting God. Goblins is fairly different than both of them, as Goblins is one of the least scary games I've ever played. The entire game is very comical. Blasting away goblins, vampiric dogs, and robots alike. It is probably one of the most fun shooters I've ever played, proven by my 100% achievement status with the game. Actually gonna get into some spoilers, so if you haven't played this game, I really do suggest you buy it. It's only $5 on Steam. Go play it, finish it, then come back. Alright, let's dive in. Goblins starts in the basement of a museum, when you accidentally open a box which releases the Goblins into the world. You pick up an antique dagger, go fight the Goblins through time. The first ones you see are these brown goblins with their cleavers. They're pretty easy to beat, stabbing these goons with a dagger, but then you get another weapon, a flintlock. It has an extremely long reload, but it does some significant damage. It also has some range. Continuing through the museum, there's also these green guys who throw cleavers around. You can deflect them back to whoever threw it, but honestly, I'm all for doing that. So, once you leave the museum, you begin to fight through the streets. And upcoming is our first boss fight, the car goblins. It's just a few goblins riding on a car. Although they don't really chop you, which is unfortunate, they just throw you up into the sky with the car. After that, you meet a new enemy. They're called the GOBLINS. Instead of using a chopping instrument, they hurl sharp words at you, which, to be real, hurt more than knives. After collecting a pair of cutters for the gate to the metro, you descend into the metro, and in a turn of events are transported to Dracula's castle. The goblins are in the castle, trying to recruit Dracula to their evil plan for world domination. This is my favorite map, so I'm a sucker for gothic castles like this. Although, I was having flashbacks to the movie Nosferatu the entire time. Especially because the dogs, which start to appear later in the level, are called Nospiratas. So you fight through the castle, and eventually you have to try and enter into Dracula's chamber. You need to go into the crypt of the castle and collect 3 sinister masks, which are scattered around. Although, it is hard to get these, as there are Nospiratas waiting around every corner. But if you collected the holy water knife past Sen's castle, yes, I love Dark Souls, you can find the holy water dagger, which is extremely useful in fighting these little dogs, as it only takes a few hits with it to kill one of them. So, you have to collect these 3 masks and place them on this little wall pedestal thing, and then you rise up into the vampire's chamber, Dracula's chamber. So I began fighting him, to which I instantly died. So then I played the entire level again. I did the whole thing again, and then I died again. So I just went back to the main menu and skipped straight to the next level because I am not playing that level another time. And I've also played this game all the way through like 5 times. So after you beat Dracula, which I didn't actually do, but if you did do it, you are transported to ancient Greece, where the Chop Goblins are trying to steal the Staff of Corinthians, and you have to stop them. This map's new enemy is called the Big Choppers. They're these giant brutes which do a ton of damage and have a lot of health, so they're pretty hard to beat. But using the Vlad machine gun you got last level, which shoots a ton of stakes, you can pretty easily beat them from afar. So you have to fight your way through the map, and then after gaining the Staff of Corinthians, you get transported into an alternative future. A future where the Chop Goblins took over the world and presumably chopped everything in sight. You are in the capital, Shoppingrad. Now, you have to do everything you can to put a stop to the goblins. In the future, they have mostly transformed into these robot goblins. They still chop, this time with by flinging lightsabers at you. You have to fight through their fabricated headquarters and take out as many goblins as possible. You have all the equipment, and all of the previous enemies are back to fight you, as is the final map. Your first objective is to turn off a force field which guards the way to the goblin headquarters. After finding and flipping a switch, you enter into the big arena in this map, where you get to wreak havoc on the goblins, using the Staff of Corinthians you gained in the last level. After fighting them, a big explosion happens and a bunch of these big goblins, the big choppers, appear to fight you. I am not going to tell you how many times I died in this arena, as that would be embarrassing, but don't worry about that. After you defeat the big choppers, you get to go through the last hall to eventually find Final Chamber, where you shoot a goblin head. It's like a hologram goblin head, and you beat the game. So that's Chop Goblins, the best game you've never heard of. And it truly is a hidden game in the retro shooter space. I really suggest trying it out. This is fun, and even though it's short, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Also make sure to check out Davis Kaminsky's other games, like the previously mentioned Swirl Stapler and Iron Lung. I've also played those games, and they are extremely fun. They're the only horror games I like, to be honest. And I just really suggest checking them out. Also, if you like this game, I've heard that Davis Kaminsky's other game called Dusk is fairly similar. It's also a retro boomer shooter. I do want to play that one sometime, so I am going to try to get that one sometime soon. But that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching.